Ever wondered about the faith journey of Abraham? It all began in the ancient land of Ur. Amidst the mundane, an extraordinary occurrence transpired. A man named Abram received a divine call, a celestial beckoning from the Almighty, an invitation to embark on a journey of faith and obedience. Abram, with his wife Sarai, heeded this call, leaving behind the familiar comfort of their homeland, their family, and their people. They stepped into the unknown, guided only by their unwavering faith in God's promises. This wasn't just a physical journey, but a spiritual one, a venture of trust, a voyage into the divine plans of God. They faced uncertainties, yes, but their faith remained unshaken, their spirits undeterred. They were stepping into the unknown, but they were not alone. They were led by the Almighty, guided by His promises, and protected by His love. With unwavering faith, Abram began a journey of obedience, stepping into the unknown. Their journey was not without trials. As Abram and Sarai navigated through the vast expanse of the desert, they encountered a severe famine. With survival at stake, they sought refuge in the land of the Nile, Egypt. But fear found its way into Abram's heart. He was afraid that the Egyptians, upon seeing the beauty of Sarai, would kill him and take her. So, he resorted to deceit, introducing Sarai as his sister. Abram's fear had led him to compromise, to rely on his own understanding rather than trust in divine providence. But the Almighty, in His infinite wisdom and mercy, intervened. Plagues fell upon Pharaoh's house, revealing the truth and leading to Sarai's release. Abram's faith may have faltered, but God's protection never wavered. Yet, even in moments of fear, God's protective hand was upon them. Abram's generosity shone when he gave his nephew Lot the choice of land. The two men had journeyed together, sharing in the trials and triumphs of their faith. Yet as their flocks grew, so did the need for space. It was Abram, in his wisdom and kindness, who suggested they part ways. Lot chose the fertile plains of Jordan, while Abram remained in the land of Canaan, in the solitude of the desert, under a canopy of twinkling stars. God spoke to Abram. It was a covenant, a divine promise that would shape the course of history. God told Abram, "Look up at the heavens and count the stars. If indeed you can count them, so shall your offspring be." This was a promise of descendants as numerous as the stars. A promise that Abram, despite his advanced age, chose to believe. A promise so profound, it echoed through the ages. When Sarai remained barren, another chapter unfolded. Sarai, in her longing for a child, gave her maidservant Hagar to Abram. From this union, a son was born, named Ishmael. Yet the story didn't end there. God, in His divine plan, reaffirmed His covenant with Abram, introducing a significant change. God renamed Abram as Abraham, meaning father of many nations, and Sarai became Sarah, meaning princess. This renaming was not just a change of identity, but a divine proclamation. It was a reaffirmation of God's promise to Abraham and Sarah, a promise that seemed impossible given their advanced years. But with God, nothing is impossible. Their new names carried the promise of a son. Despite their old age, they were promised a son. This covenant was sealed with the rite of circumcision, a physical sign of the spiritual covenant between God and Abraham's descendants. A covenant that would shape the course of history. A divine visitation brought them joy and fear. As the story unfolds, 3 divine visitors appeared to Abraham. With a gracious heart, he welcomed them into his tent. The visitors came with an astonishing promise that Sarah, though well advanced in years, would bear a son. This news left Sarah in a mixture of disbelief and laughter. Yet it was a promise that echoed the covenant God had made with Abraham. In the midst of this joyous announcement, however, a somber revelation was made. The two cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were to be destroyed due to their wickedness. Abraham, ever the compassionate and righteous man, stood before God, pleading for mercy. He interceded for the cities, asking God if he would spare them if even 50 righteous people could be found. God, in his infinite mercy, agreed. Yet Abraham persisted, lowering the number down to 45, then 40, then 30, then 20, and finally 10. Each time, God agreed to spare the cities if that number of righteous people could be found there. This was a profound demonstration of Abraham's compassion and his understanding of God's justice. It showed that Abraham was not only a man of faith, but also a man of immense mercy and righteousness. He understood that God's justice was not merely punitive, but also redemptive. Regrettably, not even 10 righteous people could be found in Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities were destroyed. Yet in the midst of this destruction, God remembered Abraham's plea and spared his nephew Lot and his family, providing a way for them to escape the city's downfall. This scene of promise and destruction illustrates the complexity of Abraham's journey. On one hand, there was the anticipation of Isaac's birth, the child of promise. On the other hand, there was the sorrow of seeing the cities destroyed. Yet, through it all, Abraham demonstrated compassion and righteousness, even as he awaited the fulfillment of God's promise. In joy and trials, God's plan unfolded. Amidst the arid desert and under the azure canopy of the sky, a cry of a newborn echoed. Sarah, overcoming the bounds of her old age, had given birth to a son named Isaac, meaning he will laugh, a testament to the joy he brought his parents, Abraham and Sarah. This was no ordinary birth, but a fulfillment of a divine promise, a miracle that breathed life into the hopes of a couple who had long awaited their progeny. However, the joy of Isaac's birth was not without its shadows. In the same household, there was Hagar and her son Ishmael, born to Abraham when Sarah was still barren. The burgeoning tension between Sarah and Hagar soon reached its breaking point. Sarah, protective of her son's inheritance, demanded that Abraham send Hagar and Ishmael away. This was a heart-wrenching decision for Abraham. Ishmael was his son too, his firstborn. But God, in his divine wisdom, reassured Abraham, promising that Ishmael too would father a great nation. Trusting in God's promise, Abraham made the difficult decision to send Hagar and Ishmael away. In the wilderness, Hagar and Ishmael faced the harsh realities of survival. But God did not abandon them. He provided for their needs and protected them, reinforcing his promise that Ishmael would become a great nation. Through these events, we witness the intricate weaving of joy and pain, promises and fulfillment, human decisions and divine intervention. It is a tale that reminds us of the complexities of life and the steadfastness of God's promises. Through Abraham's faith journey, we see the fulfillment of God's promises and the formation of a lineage that would impact history. Abraham's story, marked by his unwavering faith and obedience, sets a profound example for all of us, demonstrating the power of faith in navigating life's most challenging terrains.